Celebrating a proud heritage, resilient and strong, is the theme as we celebrate Heritage Month. Thank you so much for joining us as we take you on another journey inside the pages of Jamaica Magazine that's packaged with you in mind. I'm your host, Adrian Atkins, and there's lots in store just for you. We soon come back.
Mosquitoes will breed in containers that hold water. Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, buckets and tanks, or cover the water surface with cooking oil. Punch holes in all tins, plastic containers and boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover old tires or fill with dirt. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs and dispose of garbage by placing in plastic bags. Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding. A message from the Ministry of Health.
We have been experiencing some intense lightning storms, some of which have injured persons. But how much do you know about lightning storms? Watch now as we bring you the facts on lightning safety.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm Theodore Henry. Did you know that lightning can strike more than 10 miles away from the location of rainfall? That's a scary fact to consider. And we've been experiencing thunderstorms with heavy lightning in recent weeks. And this weather phenomenon has proven to be dangerous and deadly, so we want you to get the facts on how you can practice lightning safety. Here to share with us is Acting Director General at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, Richard Thompson. Welcome to the program, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, let's jump into getting the facts. Lightning.
Yes.
As far as I know, lightning is bright light in the sky, a lot of noise accompanies it, but what is lightning?
So apart from lightning being one of the most spectacular natural phenomena, it is extremely dangerous. Okay. Right? And thousands of persons have been impacted by lightning and many persons have died. But in terms of the definition, it's really an atmospheric discharge of electrical current caused by a variation in the cloud itself. Right. And between the cloud and ground. So there is difference in terms of charge. So within the cloud, you have positive charge and negative charge. Most of the time, the positive charge is at the top of the cloud and the negative charge is at the bottom of the cloud. Also, the ground itself has charge, negative charge or positive charge. And then the lightning itself is that movement within the cloud between positive and negative, and it gives off that kind of flash that we'll see. And also, from the cloud to the ground, it also moves from the cloud to air within the atmosphere, and also cloud to cloud.
So lightning can
move between clouds. And normally, most of the time, what we see as the light is on the return stroke. So you have an initial stroke, which is about 200,000 miles per hour. Wow. And then on the return stroke, it can be at least 1,000 times greater than the 200,000 miles per hour. And roughly 99% of the light that is given off, the illumination, is on the return stroke. But you're basically not seeing the return stroke because you can't see that kind of speed to the naked eye. You can't pick up that kind of speed. So that's it. Very, one of the largest in terms of in time known phenomena. Person have been seeing lightning way before we even start knowing about hurricane and all those things. So it's one of the oldest observed atmospheric phenomena.
I think it's pretty apparent that lightning then must be dangerous.
It is.
To human beings. The speed, the amount of energy. I would assume it carries. But what happens if a person is struck by lightning?
So like for the energy, so the temperature, it is said to be like 500,000 Fahrenheit.
That's like almost sun temperature.
Well, it's hotter than the surface of the sun, and the energy that it gives off. It is said that the energy that is given off by a bolt of lightning, you can charge roughly a 100-watt bulb for 90 days. So that's the kind of energy that it gives off. And, and I spoke already about the speed. So it is extremely dangerous. Globally, we have roughly 16 million thunderstorms annually. Of that, we have about 3 billion lightning strikes hitting the ground. Of that, globally, we have roughly 20,000.
Wait, Sir Thompson, if I can just jump in right here. So ODPEM tracks lightning strikes to the ground?
So globally, the meteorological agencies track lightning.
Okay.
We have not been doing a lot of tracking in Jamaica. But with the new process that we are embarking upon now with the Met Office and other partners is to have a lightning detection network. So we can get better data on our side. We have some data, but we want better data on our side.
Got you.
But there's global information.
Right.
Roughly 20,000 strikes, 2,000 deaths annually, globally. And out of those 20,000 strikes, you know that you would have a lot of persons being injured. Persons having cardiovascular problems, neurological problems, memory loss, severe burns. You're talking about destruction to properties.
Right.
Aviation industry being impacted, the marine environment being impacted. Agriculture, you name it.
Broad impact.
Industries. In Jamaica, the JPS will tell you that a lot of their outages caused by lightning strikes. Same thing on the side of the telecommunication providers, Flow, Digicel, they will tell you. For us in Jamaica, in terms of injuries and death, since roughly 2001, 2005, we have been doing some tracking, and we have roughly 39 persons being injured. Since 2005, 2021, 2005-2021, we have 39 persons being injured, 18 persons dying. And we would have seen other impacts since 2021. And the latest one happening a couple of weeks ago with that match out in St. Catherine. So it's something that we realize that it is important for us to pay greater attention to it, because it's high in occurrence. Even though the numbers in occurrence and when you look at the impact, it's low, it's still a high impact phenomena, and the long-term impact that it has on persons. And our minister, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie, has something that he has always talked about, to say, well, ODPEM need to pay more attention to lightning because these things keep happening. And so we have started a program looking at our National Lightning Program.
I want to stop you just here. We're almost out of time for this segment, so we're going to go to a quick break. We're learning about lightning, we're learning about the hazards of lightning, and most importantly, we're learning about how ODPEM is addressing this. Quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Get the Facts. We're continuing our discussion on lightning hazard awareness. Our guest is Acting Director General at ODPEM, Richard Thompson. Sir Thompson, we went into the break talking about the initiatives that ODPEM has been doing to increase lightning hazard awareness. Please take us through those.
So what we have done in conjunction with the Met Service, the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, we are working to extensively develop extensively a lightning program, a national lightning program. Also coming out of that, what we also want to do is to have a lightning detection network, given the fact that we don't have a lot of data in country around this hydrometeorological phenomena of lightning. So recently we had our first lightning talk, which included the ODPEM, Met Service, a lot of our industry partners that have always been impacted by lightning. We have JPS, Digicel, Flow, port authorities, airport authorities, the local authorities were a part of it as well, just to have that broad-based discussion. Bureau of Standard as well, just to have that broad-based discussion around the impact of lightning and what we can do as individuals and as state entities to ensure that we are reducing that impact.
Right.
We had speak earlier in terms of the impact of lightning and the fact that it is very dangerous. Also the fact that you can have lightning strike in areas that you are not having the thunderstorm itself. 10 to 15 miles outside of the radius of the storm cloud where the lightning originate from. And a lot of times persons are impacted by that, which you call it blue skies strike. So blue skies, nice blue sky, no rain, no thunderstorm, and you're impacted by lightning. So it's a phenomenon that we have to pay critical attention to given the severity. So a lot of work is being put in now to educate the public around lightning itself and for state entities to pay attention to it. For us in Jamaica, our data has shown that most of our lightning occurrences is between May to October. Or June to October.
Rainy season.
Within the hurricane season.
A bit, right.
Within the hurricane season. Most of our injuries are really boys and men, 10 to 29.
Why is that?
In the field, farmers in the field, kids playing football, kids outside playing. Boys tend to do a lot more playing than girls, I think. Play a lot of football. A lot of us growing up, young men, love to play football in the rain.
Yes.
Everybody talk about rainball. Rainball is one of the nicest things, but it can be very dangerous if you're having a thunderstorm.
Right.
So I think that's the reason why you have that statistics in terms of men being more impacted by lightning than most of our farmers are men. And they're out in the fields. They tend to want to take shelter under a tree, in a shed, that kind of thing, which is always prone to lightning strikes. And a lot of our farms are in the interior, and most of our lightning occurrences are in the interior, higher elevation.
Right.
So we have, in Jamaica, we have more lightning strikes in the higher elevation than on the coast.
Right.
And it spread from Centon all the way around to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland. That's the area that most of our lightning strikes tend to take place.
But I want to jump in here. As you mentioned, so the people are being affected. It's not just the companies.
Yes.
Right? And we have companies of different sizes. You have the big ones, you have the large, you have the smaller ones, and you have the people, everyday people. So give us a few tips, a few ways in which we as people, we as businesses can deal with this hazard.
So one of the main things in terms of protecting homes, protecting industries is to ensure that you build in as part of the construction lightning arresters. So you put in your lightning rods to make sure that they are properly wired and that they are properly grounded.
Right.
And even ships at sea have lightning arresters, and the ground goes into the water. And that is to prevent the ships from being totally marooned at sea. So
a farmer probably needs to invest in a lightning rod than the apparatus.
Well, a farmer who's out in the open, you just have to practice the necessary precautionary measures. Once there's rain, you try to go inside. Don't shelter under a tree. If you're shelter in a shed, it's not supposed to be an open shed. A lot of the time, persons tend to shelter under a tree, and the lightning would strike the highest point. And the temperature in the lightning literally can evaporate all the water in a tree. So it is very dangerous. A lot of times you find coconut trees being impacted by lightning. Sometimes it tend to be the highest trees in the open. So you try to move your farm animals inside if there's a thunderstorm as well. If you have somewhere to place them, a lot of the times a lot of farmers don't have that kind of animal housing facility to move their animals indoor. but they too can be impacted by lightning strikes. Persons at play, so you're doing your social, recreational events, like thunderstorm happening, stay out of the water.
I'm out of the water.
Water is the highest, one of the highest conductor of electricity. So you stay out of the water, you're inside, don't go close to the windows, the doors, close the windows as best as possible. There's a 30-30 rule. You watch 30 seconds between strikes. Once that is happening, you head inside. 30 minutes after the last lightning, if that has occurred, then you know it's probably safe to go back outside.
Okay, so we are almost out of time as we're learning all these things, but I'd like you to just close us out with a small summary on the multi-stakeholder and multi-level plan that you guys are bringing forward to decrease lightning impact.
So it's with a view to ensure that we are protecting our country and protecting our industry and ultimately protecting our people. So as I said before, industries are highly impacted by lightning strikes. A lot of the times we are driving and a lot of our traffic lights are out. Those are as a result of lightning strikes. And also our industry, telecommunication, aviation, maritime industry, all these industries are impacted by lightning, and we have lost billions of dollars in terms of downtime. So it is important that the state entities and industrial partners are paying critical attention to the impact of lightning. Ultimately from that is the loss of lives. One life lost is always one too many. And so we're, especially our youngsters, and as we would have seen with the situation out in Dintil, or out in St. Catherine with Dintil and the other school playing in the Augusta Cup match, where about, I think, 7 of the young men were impacted by lightning strikes. So most of the times our people are impacted, and those are long-lasting impact from lightning strikes. So what we want to do at the ODPEM, in conjunction with the Met Office as a government entity, is to ensure that we are building out a comprehensive lightning program, and also ensuring that we build out from this a lightning detection network where we can get better information so that we can have the data, look at the hypothesis, look at the data, look at the critical information to build out a comprehensive program and write a comprehensive plan around lightning prevention and lightning protection.
All right. This has been Get the Facts, and we've been focusing on lightning hazards, the impacts, what to expect, what to do prior to such an occurrence, and the ODPEM's work in the field. Our guest today was Richard Thompson, Acting Director General at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM. And thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm Theodore Henry. Take good care.
It's time again for the JIS Heritage Poster Competition. Are you a secondary level student? Design a digitally or illustrated poster on the theme Echoes of Freedom, tracing Jamaica's path from colonialism to republic. Let's see your best design. Lots of prizes to be won. Visit jis.gov.jm for competition guidelines. Registration is now open and closes October 31. The JIS Heritage Poster Competition 2023. Enter today.
Domestic violence can take many forms, be it physical, sexual, emotional, or economic. In this next feature, we see how the government is providing support to victims.
The findings from the Gender Assessment Report are commensurate with the community outreach focus of the Bureau of Gender Affairs and the lived experiences of numerous families. The report highlights data produced from the Bureau of Gender Affairs and Statin, which show that 1 in every 4 Jamaican women experience physical violence from a male partner. It also shows that young women, 15 to 24 years, are vulnerable to sexual violence, and this is among girls/women with little to no education and who live with their partners from an early age. It also identified that victims/survivors of GBV and their children tend to experience worse educational and health outcomes in their lifetime. A very practical response to the gender-based violence prevalence data is the development of the Drought National Shelter Strategy. Through the implementation of the strategy, we launched what we call the Continuum of Care for Survivors of Gender-Based Violence. And this clearly outlines the roles and responsibilities of the participating organizations or agencies to ensure the seamless process for care of the victims. A memorandum of understanding was signed between specific ministries, departments, and agencies to aid in this initiative. So from the moment we get the call through to taking that victim or survivor to a safe place, there is a seamless pathway between the agencies and the entities that are involved in that process. The Bureau of Gender Affairs is in partnership with the Spotlight Initiative to coordinate the implementation of the National Shelter Strategy. The first national government-owned and operated shelter in the Northeast region and a regional shelter in the Eastern region to provide rescue, psychosocial support, restoration, and skills building. The next would be renovation and retrofitting of 1 additional property to serve as a Western Regional Shelter. And I'm really happy to announce that the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service has allocated $50 million to complete the renovation and retrofitting of this regional shelter in the West for victims and survivors of gender-based violence. And we should have that shelter ready sometime late this year. Revision of the Domestic Violence Act to provide increased support to victims and survivors. That's another area, and I am happy to report that we signed off on the final drafting of the amendments to the Domestic Violence Act, and we will be taking it to Parliament in the first quarter of the 2023-24 fiscal year. So we will have those amendments come into effect early this year. We're going to be ramping up the community outreach through Partnership for Empowerment initiative to provide financial support to NGOs and community advocacy groups as partners to address GBV. And so far, we have 16 partners across the island, and they also form that network that help us to ensure that we can protect our women. Development of knowledge products on gender-based violence is another area. So we have prepared information in Braille for the blind and voice training for empowerment and self-efficacy skills. We'll also establish gender-based violence helplines. The helpline unit is actually up and running, and the training of social workers and counselors.
It's time again for the JIS Heritage Photo Competition. Are you a tertiary level student? Compose a photo on the theme, Echoes of Freedom, tracing Jamaica's path from colonialism to republic, and make your best submission. Lots of prizes to be won. Visit jis.gov.jm for competition guidelines. Registration is now open and closes October 31. The JIS Heritage Photo Competition 2023. Enter today.
The country is still experiencing drought conditions, but how informed are you about the actual situation? Watch for your edification.
It is no secret that Jamaica has had significantly lower rainfall over the last 12 months than it would normally enjoy. All but 1 month has had rainfall below its 30-year average. In fact, the period between October and March cumulatively was the lowest rainfall for that 6-month period Jamaica had ever received. With that said, that has caused particular challenges. During October normally, it is our peak rainfall period. Jamaica is normally expected during that peak period to have its highest rainfall. Last year, Jamaica received 22% less rainfall for the month of October. We have not recovered since in terms of our inflows. Now, is there hope? Is there expectation of increased rainfall? Well, there is an expectation of increased rainfall, and we are seeing some of that already. There's a 50% projection that we could see above normal rainfall, but it is not conclusive that Jamaica will experience above normal rainfall. As such, we have to manage the resource that we have very carefully. There is no conclusive increase in rainfall expected. So even when we do get some inflows over a week or so, we will be managing the levels of output very carefully to ensure that as we head into drier months of November, December, January, we don't put ourselves into a particular problem. Now, how has this impacted the National Water Commission? Persons should recall that the National Water Commission does indeed serve 75% of Jamaica. That is what we call the utility footprint. We would have had a total of 154 systems severely impacted, and this would have been primarily on the eastern end of the island. We'd have had 15 systems impacted due to significant leak repairs, 81 systems that simply don't have enough flow. So when we say enough drought, we don't have enough input. We'd have also had some issues with JPS with single-phase power, and we'd have also had some issues of mechanical failure. Now, an issue that's often not spoken about, when you get heavy rainfall in an afternoon that may mirror a monthly normal rainfall, it creates issues of turbidity, and that forces us also to close down systems to reduce the flow of silt. Now, this has impacted over the last 6 weeks 809 communities severely.
I'm Nigel Clark. I'm the Minister of Finance and the Public Service. We want a public service that is fair, a public service that values people, and a public service that delivers high quality services. And in order to do so, we need to transform the public service. Jamaica competes in a global environment. The technology has transformed the way in which the world works. And for us to remain competitive, the public service needs to be in a position to deliver services effectively, efficiently, and in good time.
Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
And just like that, we're signing out for today. But not to worry, you can rewatch this offering or other content like this by visiting our website, jis.gov.jm. Do join us again on this same station tomorrow as we bring another informative, educational, and entertaining package of Jamaica Magazine. Until then, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.